Welcome to the Healthy Relationship Formula, where through intimate and authentic conversations, we will show you how emotional intelligence plus joint behavior changes equal romantic prosperity.
Is there a reason you're holding my hand?
Yes, my darling.
What's the reason?
To profess my introductory love during this introduction. Hello, my darling.
All right, buddy. Hello.
I love you, my darling.
Oh, I love you too.
How are you doing?
I'm hot.
Oh, man. So what do you want to talk about today while you're hot? Okay. I'll take back your hand then.
Yes, rubbing off my skin for a while. But have you seen that one TikTok trend where they're like, my name is Nigensia and I do the dishes. And then their partner's like, my name is Karen.
Oh, the roll stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, we should totally do that.
We should.
So I could
So you go on.
monopolize.
Monopolize what?
I could monopolize and take over everything.
You just do everything?
Nah, but
Oh.
TikTok ain't got none of that. Social media is a farce.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But it had me thinking about like the roles that we're made to believe that we're assigned based on our gender. So like as a woman, it's your responsibility to like clean the house, wash the dishes, do anything that like revolves around taking care of the home or taking care of the kids and things like that. And men, y'all just have freedom.
And I don't know about freedom, but you know, there is a disparity in the everyday load, yes, in the traditional format.
So you don't have freedom when you come home to just relax.
Like me or the
Like in-
traditional framework?
When it comes to the traditional framework, like sure, you go out to work and you come back and you're just cooling. But a woman is expected, like let's say she's staying home. She's expected to be cleaning the house all day, cooking all day, and then you come home and she still must be taking care after you and deterring them.
And you know, when the father come home in them situations, you know, they gotta be the one to be like, hey, when the kids them running around and they ain't
He probably
listening.
gonna blame her for them not listening.
That remains to be seen. But yeah, you know, like you know, mow the lawn, take out the trash.
Take out the grass.
Yeah. You take out the grass when you're mowing the lawn. You know, different things like that.
Please.
So, but what does our situation look like, Nigensia?
I think we have a
we
very-
get no lawn to mow.
We have
Yet.
a very traditional household.
Madness.
And it's like a modern and traditional one where he expects me to go to work and then come home and still clean. And it's crazy to me.
Nigensia, why are you lying?
It's crazy to me.
Why? Where is the authentic in the authentic conversations?
That's crazy to me.
Not you farcing up the place for the people then.
Okay, fine. I think we tend to deviate a lot from like traditional rules in our own relationship, which is good because there's certain things that I'm like, I ain't trying to do that shit. I don't like doing that shit. Like, and you don't mind doing them. So it's like finding the balance. So like dishes, I ain't want to
Yeah.
do the dishes.
Captain Dishwasher over here.
He takes forever to do them though, but you know.
I have to make sure that the dishes them well clean. Listen, everybody they be talking about dishwasher this and dishwasher that. And when I say everybody, I really don't mean everybody because I haven't really heard a whole lot of people rave about it. But I can pretend that everybody that say dishwasher this, dishwasher that. There is only one, okay, there are two uses for our dishwasher. To hold the dishes while they dry and to wash itself when I ain't have the time to wash the dishes them yet. And so I will turn it on to clean itself with the dishes in it, and then I still go back and I wash the dishes. Because ain't no dishwasher out dishwashing me, the captain. All right?
I wish we could attest that. Like, put some dishes in the dishwasher and you like wash a set of dishes and then we like check them for length of time it takes to wash the same amount of dishes, like the cleanliness, like if we had like a bacteria swab or something after.
We could test
the
it.
amount of water used.
We could test it.
How are we gonna test that?
They get people on TikTok that'll be doing that thing. So we just need to buy the same materials and then test it. And you will find that my results will be exceptionally pristine.
Will they surpass the dishwasher?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We'll all
could
find out to test that.
We could see when the dishwasher will leave behind stuff, including water. It's supposed to be dry. Why when I pull in the top, water still laying there? The dishwasher is gabbed.
User error.
Okay.
And that's welcome from me because
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of the concept of user error. But anyways, so the dishes are one thing that is like traditionally the woman's role that you do. Are there any other things that you think are like traditionally the woman's role that you do?
Oh yeah, definitely. Folding clothes. Although like I kind of regard that less. I more so kind of look at it as my chore because the overwhelming majority of the clothes are mine.
I don't understand how he does wear so much clothes though.
It's not that I to wear so much clothes, you to barely wear any clothes. Therefore, you will have like no clothes. These are the fullest you wear this week.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really the main thing. But
Well, when I go to the office, I have on more.
yeah. But you ain't gone in for the week yet, so I'm still right.
Whatever.
But I mean, yeah. So you still have that, and then I would wash them, dry them, put them away, fold them, all that good stuff. So different things like that. It's always a good time. I mean, I enjoy that a little less than washing dishes, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to keep the place well folded, well organized, because some of us absolutely hate folding, and it ain't me.
I mean, they fit into the drawers the same way.
With the wrinkles and everything.
And you talk about you don't even iron. So we're worried about wrinkles. Listen, Kefren's work clothes could be wrinkled to the point where you're not sure if his clothes like 50 years old or something.
This is an exaggeration.
And Kefren will wear them things like he ain't see the wrinkles. I would have to be the one to come and be like, all right, let me iron these things. Kefren, name one time you iron your work clothes.
This is an exaggeration.
Kefren, since you started working, who ironed your work clothes anytime they've been ironed?
Well, you have, my darling.
All right. And prior to that, prior to this job, when we were in Chicago, when anything needed ironing, who was ironing?
I ironed my clothes a few times while we were in Chicago.
I ain't remember that.
I remember it though. I don't remember the exact situation, but I know that I have ironed.
I was in Indiana?
I mean, but I know that I have ironed my clothes before. But
that's what a dryer was a hole in the thing.
Nigencia, I didn't iron a hole in the bed. I blow dried a hole in the bed. Big difference.
So much better.
Yes. But anyway. So, yeah. That's what a dryer for. Since we have gone into the advent of washer and dryer and we ain't really spending too much time hanging out our clothes anymore, there's less of a need for ironing because the dryer will already execute the pre-work to the point where everything bless.
No.
Nigencia, you saying my clothes gonna be crinkle up? That is an exaggeration. My clothes don't be crinkle up.
Would you like me to go?
No. There's no need for that.
Would you like me to go grab something?
No. There's no need for that at all. It's just not crinkle up. I'm trying to save you the embarrassment because it's not that crinkle up. Nigencia, we are in the middle of recording.
Well, and I could go show the people them.
No. There's no need.
Conveniently.
So ironing is alright, but it's definitely one of the things that, you know, I'm less willing to engage in, for sure. You know, so there's no use. But let's talk about you and some other chores that you don't want to do. Eh?
Yes, there are a couple of things I'm like, we're gonna have to stick to the traditional gender roles. As untraditional as I consider us to be, certain things we gotta stick to. So I'm not taking out the trash.
You will never. I don't even think she's ever touched the garbage since we've bought the trash bag or the trash bin from when we
I
were
have
in
to press it
Chicago.
with my foot to open it to throw trash in it.
That's the only time she ever touched it. But has she ever touched the trash bag?
Probably when you asked me to pass your trash bag.
The only time you ever touched the trash bin was when we were in Chicago, and I get locked inside the trash room, and you probably had to come open it for me or something.
Yeah, it's open door, but I ain't trying out no trash. Like, that's a man's job, and I ain't a man. So, you can hold on.
So,
The trash will sit there. The trash will sit there forever before I throw that shit out. Like,
madness. Madness. And then there's also, what else? When we got lawn,
oh, you mowing
probably
that shit.
you probably ain't
You
cutting
got
no
spray for
grass.
bugs. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm just a girl.
She ain't cutting no grass, you know what I'm
not.
saying? So, but no problem, because, you know, I'll just channel my inner stepfather and make sure the lawn is well mowed, well cut, and
Love that for you.
you know, make it look nice and pristine. You know, she'll probably come out with a little
Bring a
drinky
water.
drink, you know, something like that. But I feel little. There's other stuff that I ain't really trying to do. Cleaning the bathroom, you know, that's her thing. Like, I would clean the bathroom. Like, I would never say that I would never clean the bathroom.
In what scenarios would you clean the bathroom?
But, like, you know, if there are certain situations that pop up where you are not able to clean the bathroom, like, let's say if you're not in a position to inhale certain aromas, like if you're maybe really sick or if you're pregnant or something like that, right? Then we wouldn't want you inhaling those fumes, and thus, you know, I would step in to do a little clean here and there, you know what I'm saying? A little
really?
You know?
I feel like you just let me put on a mask.
And I didn't say I
And
would
gloves.
not. I would not say that. I would not say that. But if you opted to do that, I would think about whether I should stop you or not. I may
You'll think so long that
participate.
I'll finish cleaning the bathroom
I
before
may
you come.
participate in the joint cleaning efforts. I may relegate you to easier tasks that don't involve too much effort. You know, different things like that. But, you know, ultimately, your safety will be a priority in cleaning the bathroom.
Not you acting for the camera.
I'm not acting for the camera, I'm acting for you.
Crazy. So, like, there's like this idea, and I mean, it comes back to people really like just living their lives on social media and for social media. But there's always this back and forth on, like, oh, men want a traditional woman, but then expect her to like go out into the workforce and things like that. Like, do you think that one format is better than another? Like, having like that traditional relationship where the woman is cooking and cleaning. Maybe she stay home. Hopefully she stay home. Because if you have your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, going to work, coming home, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the children and everything, and you with your feet up, I hope you walk on a thumbtack later today. And then I hope you stub your toe on the corner of the bed tomorrow. And while you're at it, I hope when you get your coffee or whatever tea or whatever you just drink in the morning, it come out the pot and you spill it on yourself.
Yo, take it easy. But honestly, we have to get rid of the traditional format. It's outdated. right? Like that whole,
Don't let it come for you now. But go
they
ahead.
could come, they could come, come one, come all, all right? That it's just outdated because our economy simply does not allow for that same format. That format thrived on the ideal or the assumption that a man could bring home just his income and it would sustain everything that's going on. And not only is that unsustainable now,
For most.
now,
For most.
that shit was unsustainable even then because there is more to home rearing and the nuclear family than just income generation and provision, right? Like a man is not defined by his provision or his ability to make money. You know, like you absolutely need to have some kind of balance in how well you engage both your wife but also any children that are in the household for emotional nourishment. And so like that's not a thing that a lot of fathers are depicted as in like that popular media back then. And it's definitely not a system that's sustainable now. And it's also not fair to the women, right? Because if we talking about this stuff where, yeah, we expect you to do all of these house rearing thing and they're working anyway, then you have a situation where both people are putting in this 9 to 5, really 8 to 5 kind of work schedule. And then when you at home and you have this extra time, the women's time is filled with all of these extracurricular things that I'm pretty sure you ain't want to do half of them, let alone all of them, even more so by yourself. And then the guy is just free to do whatever things that he's doing in the name of ambition, in the name of hard work, and really in the name of relaxation.
In the name of the patriarchy, because that's what it is.
In the name of the patriarchy. So yeah, you definitely need to get rid of that. And that's honestly like one of the driving forces behind me wanting to just do these different like chores and stuff, because I don't want that to be our situation.
Good. I don't want that shit to be our situation either. But I actually feel differently. Like, shocking, I know, for a very non-traditional person. Like, I don't consider myself traditional in any way, shape, form. Like, yeah. I didn't even give up my last name, like, when we get married. So, but I feel like I'm not knocking anybody's hustle or whatever they choose to do. Like, if you sick. But I feel like there are some people that desire that, both men and women, who desire a very traditional relationship. And if that works for them, like, more power to you. You know, that's not my preference, but there's some people that are like, oh, like, yeah, from the time I was small, like, I wanted to be like a wife or a homemaker, not a homewrecker, a homemaker. And that's what they've seen for themselves since they were young. And if they find somebody that provides that for them, then like, kudos. I feel like people that are aligned in terms of that, like, y'all go be together. I think the issue for me stems when someone that's traditional like meets someone that's non-traditional, and then like both parties or either one party is expecting the other person to like fit into this mold that they clearly don't. So like, there are some women who are like, yeah, I want to go out and make my own money. And there's some men that's like, I want you to stay home and take care of these kids. And it's like, those two things just don't mesh well. And then you end up with these incels on social media talking smack about women and saying, oh, you think your degree makes you better than us. Like, men don't care about your degree, but you might not care. Good for you. But it's
It's
like,
more like those red pill loser type folks.
I group them all together, to be honest.
Manosphere.
Yes.
Fair.
Yeah. So it's like we end up in those situations. Like, find people that fit what you want. If you want somebody that's quote unquote not a gold digger, like, then don't go looking for somebody that clearly enjoys gold. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, so if you prefer a traditional lifestyle, like, more power to you. If you prefer a non-traditional lifestyle, more power to you. Like, I really don't care what people decide to do.
No, I care. I care a lot because there is desire, and that's fine, but there's also indoctrination, especially in a very uncritical way, right? Because like there is indoctrination where you've been able to essentially co-opt it and have it as your desire. But then there are those who have been indoctrinated into that, may like it, but don't actively think about how it came to be. And so like if you have evaluated like in detail that this is the type of situation that you want, it's completely fine, because this is for like any one choice. It just so happens that with the traditional, it was the prevailing and automatic choice that has been made for centuries. In the case of women, this choice was made for you, right? And so for me, it really showcases some kind of absence of like really thinking about that for yourself. And like it's not like automatic, but like it does make me consider it, especially thinking about like the economy situation, because again, this reality is not real for everyone. In order for you, especially in America, America, you have to like, not even 6 figures is getting you the American dream. So like it's you have to be like approaching millionaire status for that kind of gain.
I mean, I think to your earlier point about like the whole idea of indoctrination, I'm still on the fence with that, because yes, you know, a lot of those like, and I think that's kind of where the tradition comes in. Like, it's passed on so much that you don't really question where it came from. You're like, well, this is how it's always been done. This is how my mother did it. This is how my grandmother did it. This is how my great grandmother did it. So you don't really question it. But I also think that two things can be true. Like, you could see that this is the way it's always been done and still decide for yourself, like, either I want this or I don't want that. Like, I feel like we, in going with the assumption that like a lot of it is simply like indoctrination and not questioning the origins of things like these, we give people a little too much credit. Like, in terms of you're exposed to other things. Like, whether or not that is your norm, you've been exposed to other things. And you, as a person with free will, for the most part, like, you have the ability to say, this might deviate from everything I know, but I kind of like that. Or, this is what I know, and I want to stick with that. Like, I think at some point that choice is consciously made, despite the indoctrination or not. Because I could think of like a lot of other things where we've quote unquote been indoctrinated, but people like pivot from it all the time. Like, literally using like tradition as an example. Like, people get married, they give up their last name, take their husband's last name.
All right.
Like I can't think of, and maybe I need to think harder, but I can't think of a single married person that I know, like the woman that hasn't taken her husband's last name or like given up theirs in favor of their husband's last name. And I've been carrying my last name for years. I literally just added, I didn't even like replace my last name. I just added yours to my thing the other day. After we've been married, what, 3 years?
Yeah.
So
3 years.
yes. So I think that like indoctrination, sure, but at some point, like we consciously make decisions about the kind of lives we want to live, the kind of people that we want to be, and the kind of things that we want to carry on for the future.
Yeah. There's still levels of consciousness though, where like you've evaluated it to the point where you feel comfortable in where like you sit. And that's still cool beans, I guess, right? Not everyone has to be like me where I endeavor to delve into the deepest constructs of my inner world that is ever expanding like the universe. And
all right, Thanos.
yeah. But like, you know, to your point of like, you know, sometimes we might give people too much credit. I think about like the inversion of that, where we might not be giving something else enough credit. And I have to flesh that out more. But like, I think that in the case of like the woman in 2025, in order for you to like choose like this stay-at-home mom life fully, I think there is some sort of suspension of other passions that you may have had tied to work that, you know, I know it's not going to always be the case. I think the surefire case of that not being the case is like if you have consciously said, yeah, my main purpose will in fact be raising these kids, making the home, and nothing else. And you know, nothing says that you would have to do like just that and not anything else. Mm-hmm. But like, that's what I see when thinking about like this conscious choice of being like a stay-at-home mom, or like a stay-at-home like this. Like that's like your primary thing that you're putting your foot towards, which from a time and energy standpoint means that you are suspending or giving up something else. And in a world where there is so much for you to do to the point where it feels overwhelming to choose, it doesn't strike me as a super conscious thing that a lot of people would do, more than something that they kind of fell into or settled into, that the invisible pressures of patriarchy kind of force them into.
Well, I think I think the reasoning differs based on the tax bracket. So let's say, for example, like,
yes,
you have a millionaire husband and he's like, you don't have to go to work. Like, let me find out you turn into a millionaire. You think I'm going to be showing up at work tomorrow morning?
Yeah, why not?
Now, I like my team, but let's be real. I would quit my job and find something that I'm more passionate about. Like, I know that the work I do now is not my passion. It's not the field, like the overall work that I do. Yes, like the type of work I do, but like the topic I'm doing it on is not my passion. So I'd quit my job and like go do that shit elsewhere. So I'd probably still like go to work, but I wouldn't feel pressure to like have to take a job that I know is going to pay more because I'm well aware that the topic that I want to be able to explore in my work isn't going to be a high paying job. It's like, I don't have to feel pressure to go to work for that.
Now, Nigencia supervisor, if you're looking at this, I am not a millionaire at the time of this recording, so you can expect her to report to work. Okay? This is not a secret message.
You're funny.
Letting you know that I am a millionaire and that she won't be reporting. I am not.
You're funny. But I think, like, in a case where you're a stay-at-home wife to a millionaire, for example, and assuming, your husband ain't like a little greedy bastard or something, like, I believe you would have access to resources and help that still open up your time and ability to go and pursue all your passions. Like, imagine my husband is a millionaire and we have this big fancy house. He probably hired somebody to clean it. We probably have a nanny to look after the kids.
It's
but
possible. Yeah.
I mean, if you're a millionaire, you stingy with it. Like,
Trying to keep the finances in order to avoid lifestyle creep.
being stingy, being stingy ain't gonna make you rich. But
Might keep you rich though.
you gotta spend money to make money.
All right, Bala.
Okay. But so in those cases, I think that the woman still has the opportunity to, like, explore her passions, go volunteer and stuff like that. I think what you, like, the area that you are talking about, and this is, like, more than likely the majority, because, yeah, there are, like, plenty of millionaires out there, but the average person isn't a millionaire.
Indeed.
So when it comes to, like, the average person, I think a big trend of late, at least from TikTok, is there are women becoming stay-at-home moms, not necessarily because, like, that was their initial intent, but they have kids and then they figure out, oh my gosh, like, the amount that I'm spending in childcare is basically my entire salary or more.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that kind of thing.
Going to work or staying home and watching the kids, like, it's not a big difference in trade-off, but it doesn't mean that you're, like, living, like, this fancy life or you have the ability to go and do Pilates in the morning after your husband leaves for work and stuff like that. Like, in those cases, you probably do give up a lot of yourself, So I think it all really depends. And then maybe there are situations where, he's not a millionaire, but you didn't give up your job because childcare was more than what you were making or whatever. But maybe, like, you had a kid and you're like, oh, I can't imagine leaving this kid ever again. And then you're like, well, we could make it work. And then you become, like, a stay-at-home mom from that. So I think there are varying reasons why people absolutely, like, consciously choose that route. Because, again, I'm telling you, like, turn into a millionaire and I'm staying home, feet up on the couch.
We gotta think about that, man. Because $1 million.
Oh, you mean we could do it before you reach $1 million?
Whoa. I mean, $1 million that ain't recurring, it could run out.
Why wouldn't it be recurring?
Because it was just like that, like, assuming that, like, this was me winning the lottery or something.
I ain't assuming no lottery.
Oh, maybe.
This ain't no luck, no chance. This is hard work and preparation.
I agree. You're right.
And from the time you're able to make 1 million, you could make another one.
All right. You're right. You're right. So let's speak that into the atmosphere.
Okay.
So Nigencia supervisor, watch out. All right. If she doesn't report, you know why. So, yeah.
I'll finish my projects before I dip out.
Hopefully. But yeah, so all in all, I think that it is agreeable that that type of thing is generally inaccessible to the middling population, I would think, because what you just mentioned, like with that stuff with the child care and like exceeding the salary, a lot of people are affected by that, and I would think that the folks most affected by that are folks who may not make a whole lot. Like I think like the middle class are like the most screwed with that kind of proposition, because like there's a population of folks where like, you know, it's consuming, or it will consume their finances, but then if they stop working, the remainder people are not making enough to contribute to the amount that is now lost. You know, that kind of thing.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that math, because it's like, if, let's say, you're making 60K and I'm making 50K, and we're spending 50K a year on childcare, like, me staying home, I don't think that should impact our finances in any way. Other than we spending 50K on childcare, we just don't have that extra 50K to spend on childcare.
Yeah, but what if before we had the child, all of that money was still going to something, and then with the child care, that's an added 50K?
But then where would the added 50K come from? Because if we were spending the 50K on something prior, we ain't had no pay increase. So then we still got to find the 50K.
Yeah, so that's what I meant with like the math, because that 110K is already allocated to something. Boom, we have the child, and that's an added 50K in childcare expenses. And so by you quitting, we would be able to recoup that 50K that we just but now we're gonna be under 50K from the other previous things we were tending to before.
I mean, well, if we define the 50K to send the child to daycare, then I guess we could find it to pay for them other things. Or are you assuming that we never sent the child to daycare and we just did the math, and the math said it would cost 50K to send this child to daycare?
Yeah, that it
Oh,
would
I was
cost.
going with the assumption that they were already in daycare, and then we were like, oh, hell no.
Oh, well, yeah. So like those are the class of folks I was accounting for, because I would imagine that folks are working before the child stuff comes into play. Like they didn't just have the child and then start working. Like they would, like the money would have already have to have been
Gotcha.
going somewhere, you know? And so like if you're a millionaire, that differential doesn't really matter because you're a millionaire. And if you are poor, then it probably also doesn't really matter because you couldn't afford either which one, and you probably shouldn't have been having these kids to begin with. But
Oh, they're gonna say, what are eugenics?
What the hell? What the hell?
You know,
so
that's another conversation.
yeah. So that's what I mean with like the middle class being like sandwiched in a weird thing, you know. But yeah, I kind of lost the plot.
That's
But I
all
guess
right.
because this had something to do with traditional gender roles and pain and
Pain?
yeah, and paying.
Oh, paying.
Yeah, paying stuff. And all the more reason why you gotta customize wherever. So don't just lock into the traditional just for traditional's sake.
And don't just log into the non-traditional just to say you being different.
Yeah, because that's the ultimate thing. Like, don't just lock in or subscribe to something uncritically. Tailor it, customize it to the situation and your values. Because, you know, if those are still a part of your values, like, I'm not knocking that at all. What I will knock is subscribing to it uncritically. The only thing you should be subscribing to uncritically is our channel.
podcast. Yes.
Yeah. We almost synced together.
Yeah.
We had two
Close
different
enough.
words. Yeah.
Close enough.
You check. So, yeah.
But, you know, we always give you a little homework to do. So
Yep.
today's assignment is for you to take a critical look at your own relationship and the roles and kind of where you align. Are you more on the traditional side? Are you on the non-traditional side?
Run that audit.
Yes, give yourself a role audit. And then when you look at it, like, really think about, is this what I align with? Is this what I expected? have a conversation with your partner if it doesn't align. Like, if you find out, man, I'm doing a lot of traditional things and that's not my interest, like have a discussion with your partner to see what they might be able to take up.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah.
have a conversation. You know, we're all about conversations here, authentic and intimate conversations.
Yeah, you're.
So have one with your partner.
Yeah. You check.
Yeah. But that's all we have for you today. As we wrap, remember that the formula to a healthy relationship isn't always obvious, but if you stick with us, we'll give you the tips, the tricks, the tools, and everything that you need to have a healthy relationship. Peace.